Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Over Breakfast. Hey, Lori.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. I was just thinking, I wish I had some daffodils behind me because I see you're outside and I feel the spring coming.
I believe we have some daffodils in the front yard. I could go get them for you.
No, I do too, but I'm going to wreck our show right now.
A little bit. How are you today?
I'm good. It's only Tuesday. These days are very busy. I'm really, this weekend, we had such great weather on Saturday. It was so good to open the windows and be at home. And I'm going to be heading back to Florida tomorrow. So it's been a little bit of a work-life balance for sure.
Yeah.
Little segue there.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our guest today. Just chatting backstage before the show. She seemed amazing and has a great organization to talk about. Do you want to introduce Sarah?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to let Sarah tell us a little bit about how she and I came together. But she is the executive director of Siren. Activities include some Siren signature talks. They are networking and work-minded organization focused on women of all ages, stages, backgrounds. There's diversity and knowledge and connection. And so let's just bring Sarah on and we can talk a little bit about the way Siren works and what it's all about. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning,
Thanks
Sarah.
for having me.
Thank you for being here.
It's great. It's great to see you. And it's great to meet you. So we were telling Ben backstage that we met because I had called you as a reference for someone that now works for Visual Thrive. We can talk a little bit about that. And I said, oh, this is really important to get out on the airways because of what's happening to women right now in the organization, in the world. But let's just start with kind of a background of Dr. Nadimpalli and who you are and how you came to be a part of the Siren Cooperative.
Yeah, so I moved to Rhode Island about 5 years ago, and I was working at Brown Medicine up in Providence. I live on Aquidneck Island, and I just wanted a little more professional community of women down on the island. And I was sort of looking around, and there was no real connecting opportunities for women who work in all different backgrounds. And I love working and learning from women who have all different backgrounds, like you said, and come from, a whole wide age range and stages. And, as you're the marketers, you're not supposed to market to everyone, but really so many women from so many different backgrounds sort of came together about 3 years ago now. Siren's been operating. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization now. We started off as an LLC, but we really found our true home as a nonprofit. But, I just sort of had an open house in this little historic home by one of our local grocery stores called the Green Grocer. Shout out to Green Grocer. And it was just this cute little place where we could all come and co-work together a couple times a week. So we started around the idea of co-working, and then we had these monthly activities and events, and we had hundreds of women just coming to talk about topics that resonate with us from, a wide range of work and personal related topics. Yeah. And so our signature is that we want to be inclusive, real, we want to feel really friendly and welcoming. And I think that's been achieved over the past 3 years. And so we started with co-working, and then we stepped away from co-working because really we just found that women wanted to connect and be together and talk about things that matter.
Was there, so in marketing, this idea of demographic is so important. And, but I do think that when you create a demographic based on an idea or a thought or a purpose, that can be a really strong demographic as well. I mean, obviously it's a women's group, so it's for women, but outside of that, it's women that have a mindset around particular topics like inclusivity and growth and advancement and things like that. yeah, I think that that's so important. So what was the point in time where it all of a sudden went from, hey, we're just meeting at the coffee shop to, oh, we need to create an organization around specific like values?
That's such a great question because I sort of just pitched it, to the group. And I think about 16 founding women who pretty much gave membership dues in advance to start the thing and rent the little historic building officially. And so they said, yes, we want this, we're on board. And so I have a little plaque still of all of our founders. And so many of our founders from 3 years ago are still with us today. And they keep signing on and coming to our monthly events and building this community. So it's really exciting to see that it's still going, even amidst a pandemic. And I think Siren's been needed in particular by women during this pandemic time.
Yeah. I think so.
So
I thought you were going to ask a question, Ben, and I was like, oh, I see it.
No,
I think I was stealing one of your questions because I know you're going to ask about how, we've evolved during the pandemic, and I think we're definitely needed, and we've been useful during this time, especially.
For sure. Is Siren open? I know that you wanted to create a culture on Aquidneck Island, and but is it so? What are the parameters for joining?
Right. So basically go to our website, and thanks for posting that. It's sirencooperative.com. That's the full name, Siren Women's Cooperative. And you go to membership, and you basically just read some of our policies and pay your membership dues. There's really no parameter. You have to be a work-minded woman, and that means like any kind of work. So women in our co-op are women who are working customer service positions. They're lawyers, they're nurses, they're just a wide range of women. We do have a lot of entrepreneurs in our group that like to connect with other women because again, we've reached hundreds, maybe 1,000 women or more in the past 3 years who have come to all of our events and connected in one way or another.
That's so cool. I'm always, I do coaching as well, like individual executive coaching. And I think that this idea around what women deal with on a regular basis, like all due respect, Ben, women are amazing, as you probably know. But I think one of the more important things is to teach the young men what's going on with women. A lot of times like these articles are written like, women, do you realize, or do you see like women are taking on all this silent work, this silent stress that doesn't get exposed in the work world. But realistically, whenever I have like a 30-something male client, I always make sure that we have these discussions, because as a partner in this world, to understand like what does it mean to actually be a supportive partner and have a partnership. And I had this one guy that said, I read the article, I can't remember what it was, and he said, and I took my wife and I went to the grocery store and I got my phone and I wrote down every single thing that she picked and bought, and I shadowed her for the afternoon, and now when she tells me to go to the grocery store, I have my list and I know exactly what she wants. And I was thinking like, I'm so proud of you. But it's a big deal, right? Because when you're working and you have kids, and I mean, in life in general now is just nonstop, and it's weird, right? The whole world stopped and we're busier than ever. It's very strange. So I'd love to hear from you about just this extra pressure that's been placed on women at this time.
Right. I think even before this time, we've been pretty aware in women's circles about the disproportionate burden of domestic labor, taking on just a huge mental load when, couples have children. That all again, is a part of lives for women, whether they're at work or whether they're, trying to do something, healthy and at play for themselves. I think that the pandemic has just exacerbated all of that. We've seen that inequity exacerbated. And really, Siren Women's Co-op is a place for support, a place to talk about a lot of those things. We actually had a talk on how the pandemic is disproportionately affecting women and their ability to work and thrive and grow. And that was a really supportive talk. And we had a lot of ideas on coping. And yes, sometimes we do talk about having those dialogues with our partners. And of course, I'm talking about heteronormative couples here, right? It's likely different for same-sex couples, and that all is worthy of exploration too. But, I did just read a fact that the number one way for partners and heteronormative couples to learn about this disproportionate burden women take on, especially when they have kids, is to actually do the job of what most women do. So for a period of time. So that's why we need things like paternity leave. We need, frankly, men to be doing the jobs of women, and then they really see it. I was just working with this contractor the other day, and he said, "Oh, being home with the kids is the hardest job." And I was like, you're a contractor, though. That's kind of a hard job. He goes, it's nothing compared to the kids. And that's often how I feel, like I earned a PhD. And to me, that was so much easier because I did it without kids. And it's a linear process. You do the work. I mean, it's input, output.
Yeah.
But it's very tricky for women to be the primary parent in so many situations. And to want to move forward with their careers. And, we're dealing with a pay gap. We're dealing with sexism at work. We are dealing with not as much time to take care of ourselves or have that downtime. So Ben, Siren is a place for all that discussion.
I'd love to hear Ben, go ahead.
So for me, this is something that has been apparent, obviously, my entire life, because I've been taught it and watched it and all of that. But when I started working with, not so much when I was working for other people, but when I started working for myself and had female counterparts, to see both on a B2B and B2C level, the sometimes low grade, sometimes straight up sexism that happens has always been astonishing to me. So we had, I used to run a theater company that I founded, and my partner was a woman who was just a couple years younger than me, and did the majority of the work. As far as she was the director of these children's shows and the person that communicated. And I mostly, if you were a parent coming to the rehearsals to pick up your kids and stuff, I was in the back on a computer doing paperwork and stuff, and she was running the rehearsals. But there were people that wouldn't talk to her and would only talk to me, parents.
I've noticed that.
Fire department people, people that we had to call to get permits for stuff. There were just people that were okay, well, I'm gonna go to Ben, and I always, and people were just mean to her, so much worse to her than they were to me. I was the default good cop, and I don't know why. And then,
now you know.
Yeah, and then because I was,
sometimes people only want to talk to the guy.
Yeah,
it's true. And honestly, as I was a single mom, my kids are very young when I became single, and throughout that period of time, it's kind of I would hear things well, let me talk to your husband. It's sorry. Or I had a contractor once. I didn't hire him, but he came to the house and I was having some work done, and he said, so so who's paying for this? I need to talk to who's paying for this. And I was like, okay, thank you very much. We're done here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That still happens every like all the time. I have I mean, specifically, obviously it still happens like in a broad sense all the time. I mean, it still happens to me. Like so my best friend is a female who's a photographer, and I watch her get talked to as if she is not an expert in what she does, and that she doesn't understand what's being asked of her, or people like completely dismiss the like if I bring in like a web designer or something to help with a marketing job and it's a woman, like she gets dismissed, and it's super uncomfortable. And I like, so how do I and people in this situation, how do you become an advocate for that? How do you stand, like what do you do to be an ally for that?
You can speak right up, right, in those situations, right in front of your friend. And if someone's talking to her in a kind of disrespectful, diminishing way, you can just say, my partner's right here and she actually handles A to Z. So you can talk to her directly about that. So I think kind of addressing it, jumping in, and shifting the conversation can be a really helpful, supportive role for you.
It's I do that, and it's so terribly annoying how little that works.
It really doesn't.
It really like the people, because the people that are not having an issue with it don't take that. You don't ever have to say that to them, but the people that do really dig their heels in at that point, and it's very awful.
Don't make me feel defensive, dude. I'm doing my thing here.
I'm like, well, I don't know what's so
what do you think? Like that begs a great question around, we all see this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in these experiences, and I can totally see what Ben's saying, that it's just ignored. It's almost like but maybe it's ignored because it's not even recognized.
It's not recognized
as something against someone else.
Yeah. Or it could be this internalized bias, right? This implicit bias that, we all walk around with biases, and we all have to try to keep those in check. I mean, me too. Obviously,
well, think about what I just said. I just gave you guys a great example, and I wasn't thinking of same-sex couples or any other type of partnership. I was thinking about this one client and their coupledom, and that was it.
Right. Yep. I think we have to keep chipping away at it. I think even if people blow you off, I guarantee you, Ben, that person you were talking to probably went home and did think about, I was interrupted by Ben, and he was trying to shift the conversation back to her as sort of this leadership person. And, we have to keep chipping away at it, and being allies and being supportive, and, talking to your, not your friend, your business partner, talking to your partner afterwards too. Like, I'm so sorry that happened. I noticed, how did that make you feel? And like, how can I be a better ally support to you? And ask her, we just keep chipping at it.
Because I could almost imagine like that conversation, if you say like, oh, I'm really sorry that happened to you, that could be like, hey, thanks for standing up for me, or hey, you could have said blah 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 blah, but then that educates. I'm not talking about you specifically, Ben, but it just educates, and it raises the conversation,
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, we've had a few non-women guests. We've had a few men speakers to Siren, just a couple, but we need to bring in more. I mean, obviously the conversation needs to extend far beyond women, but really the intent for Siren is to kind of be that beacon, or you were talking about, the meaning of the name, to sort of sound the alarm that we are here.
Let's just talk about the name, because it's so like, it's perfect for right now.
Right. So it has a couple meanings. So we call it Siren Women's Cooperative because we live right by the ocean. Our first little place where we gather, we could have a water view. And so it sort of conjures up these images of mermaids and women by the sea, like splashing and free and making some impact. And, you know, are we mysterious? Are we dangerous? It was just sort of fun to have that mermaid play, but also really it's sound the alarm. We're going to be talking about women's issues together and working together on a community project. One of our most beloved projects is called the Ready to Work Exchange, where we mentor women going through periods of homelessness to develop job interview skills. So we help them write resumes, do a mock job interview, dress for success. And that's been really the beating heart of Siren for the past 3 years, to make those connections with a diverse range of women from, again, that really, speaks to us living out our values of, tapping into women who are from a range of different professions, careers. We don't even really use the word professional group that much. We just say work-minded. If you have, even if you're, not engaged in the formal workforce right now, you're thinking about it, you've stepped away, you had some time away. And we have a lot of women who fall into that category as well, who just are getting sort of inspired by the group and
I
coming
really
to
like
us from,
that. Yeah.
coming to us to be motivated.
I think about when you say stepping into the workforce, I was thinking, what is that? That I don't feel like I'm in the workforce, but I guess I am in the workforce. But so many people are working at home and doing so many cool and different things now. I can feel the whole work world shifting. So the idea of work-minded women is, how do we make a living? Are we making a living doing something on the side and having a rental home where we get income, or I think there are so many different options right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if a woman was thinking, I really want to get involved in a group that will support my work-minded life, my personal life, what does Siren say, or what's on the calendar for Siren?
Oh, right. So if you just go to our website, again, nicely featured below there, you can check talks and events, and you can see a list of all of our upcoming talks. And right now they're all on Zoom. They are advertised right there on the webpage, but you can just attend virtually right now. We do have walks in person. So folks can come and mask up and do a walk at Statuesque National Reserve together, or many of the other beautiful trails in Rhode Island. So we are meeting a little bit in person. We've largely gone virtual though, like I said. So and we also have like all of our past talks and events, so you can get a sense of the topics that we include.
And if someone wasn't a member and just wanted to meet some members, is it are they welcome to join into a walk? Or I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I just.
No, they can. So you can even just pop in for one talk, or we probably have like a free kind of come walk with us every other month or something like that. So it's a really low risk joining. It's only $60 a year to tap into 3 talks, all of our socials, our private Facebook page, and just unparalleled networking and sort of real organic relationship building.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah,
I always love to see a store there because of Shop Local Rhode Island.
Yes. We created a motivational, inspirational book together a few years ago. There's our Women Words in the Water book. It's a really gorgeous hardcover coffee table book. I should have a copy here, but you can buy that, and that all profits support our Ready to Work Exchange, again, where we mentor women to develop those job interview skills I was talking about.
I love that. We are in the process, as you know, of developing a marketplace for Rhode Island. And right now that marketplace is a directory of 2,000 businesses, but businesses like yours that are organizations can also sell and get funding through the marketplace too. So I hope you join into the marketplace. We're looking for beta companies, just a shout out to everybody that's watching.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
And
Lori, thank you for being such a great connector. And we were just sort of mentioning earlier, one of Siren's interns saw a job posting on our private Facebook page, followed up on it, and now she's working for Visual Thrive. It's amazing. It's a classic Siren story.
Yeah, and she's amazing. She's doing fantastic. And it was actually a member of Siren who the CEO of Visual Thrive, Scott, posted on his page, "Hey, we're looking for someone." She saw it. She's a member of Siren. She knew. So like the connection, I always think this idea of, if there's a connection, let's see if it works. And if it doesn't work, hey, whatever. But we're going to grow a community in Rhode Island that is just beyond amazing. I know, Ben, we're rocking it, man. This way. All right. So we are ready for the lightning round. And I know that Ben has new music for the lightning round.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's so good. All right. So, Sarah, here's how we play the lightning round. We just ask very quick questions. You have 1 minute to answer. First thing that comes to your mind. And yeah, it's pretty fun. So Ben sets the timer and it's quick and easy. All right, Ben, when I see the timer, we will get started.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
What is the biggest business shift that you took in the last year?
Oh, we took all of our programming due to the pandemic and put it online. So that was a huge pivot, but it's been very successful. We've had still great participation.
Oh, that's so good. What's your business flagship offer? So what's the thing that you sell the most?
Be a member. Come join us, the membership. So you'll be part of the community. You can plug into our Facebook page, which we update every day. You can come to several of our talks per year and walk with us and have socials and connect and grow your network and have a great time.
Cool. So if you were hired for the coolest gig ever, what would it be?
If I were hired, ooh, well, I have these entrepreneurial interests now, how to specifically help moms. So we'll get more into that later.
Okay, cool. So who, dead or alive, would you like to have a coffee with and pick their brain?
Oh, Oprah.
Oh, Oprah, of course. And then the last question, should we ask it, Ben? You're gonna give me the yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, shit.
That's a hard one, right? Shit, that's a hard one. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a good one. All right. See, that wasn't that hard, was it?
There we go. Now we're back. All right.
That was great. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us today and coming on and spreading the word. And this is running live right now on Facebook and YouTube, and you can go into YouTube and grab the link and spread it out. Yeah. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you.
You too. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
She was awesome. She
was awesome. Yeah. No, that was good.
I'm excited. Who do we have next week?
Next week we have Claudia Middendorf, who is a graphic artist and quilt designer and maker, and she has designed the new logo for Shop Local Rhode Island.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how someone brands their organization and what a logo means. You know, when we first started, and like you're starting benbarber.com, it's like when you think about a logo, it definitely represents something toward your branding. And so what does that look like in a design world?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Obviously you've been extremely busy with everything else going on. How's the book? How are people, now that people have read the book? What kind of feedback are you getting? I
actually am getting really good feedback, and we got to talk to Father Chaudhry.
Chan-
Chandri.
Chandy.
Chandy.
Yeah.
Sunil.
Sunil,
Yeah,
Father
that was
Sunil.
such, man, talk about getting deep fast. That was amazing. But I did get my first check from Amazon last month. So that was kind of cool. And
Nice.
and yeah, it was just, the book was definitely a calling, a labor of love, something I just had really wanted to do. And I may do it again, but the world may not, and hopefully not, stop so that I can sit in my house for months and write a book.
Yeah, the next one may take you a lot longer.
Yeah. So what are you working on these days, Ben?
Well, like I said, like you said, benbarber.com is coming soon. I had a premium account for a website rollover that wasn't supposed to, and then I couldn't for an old website that wasn't supposed to roll over, and then I couldn't like take it away, so I transferred it to benbarber.com. So it's up now, but it just says coming soon on it. Because I was like,
at a time.
I was like, well, I was gonna spend this multiple hundreds of dollars later anyway, so
Yeah.
so that's coming soon. I thought about. Hold on, there's a little bit of feedback coming on your end. I thought about there was a. Well, actually, I'm going to ask your opinion on this real quick, if you would indulge me. So I wanted to since August, I really wanted to create a show, a mission statement, whatever you would call it, around the time 6:32 a.m. I set my alarm every day for the last 6 months to 6:32 a.m. To get up in the morning. It's the and I thought like that would be a cool branding for like a motivational podcast, stuff about routines, self-help, therapy, working out, fitness, all of that, mental health, everything like that. And the reason for me for 6:32 a.m. was that was the time that my dad died. And I remembered it that day, obviously. And then a couple days later, I was like, I could use that for myself as a reminder that life is short and you should, take every day to the fullest and get up and live with purpose and all of that stuff.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I switched my mic and I'm hoping it helps with the feedback.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. I also think when you say that, it feels like, your dad lives in you and it kind of propels his values and his spirit forward too in you. I love that.
Thank you. Ironically, I have been sitting on this for 6 months, and then I was so mad last night because this past week I was like, I should do that. I should just do that. And then,
oh no!
And then a couple days ago, and then last night, I got a notification that they were starting this morning. That Gary Vaynerchuk's brand was starting 7:31 a.m. the podcast. And I was like, oh my God, that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And then, but which makes sense because they have a brand called 1:37 p.m., which is like a men's lifestyle brand.
Right.
That's owned under Gallery Media Group. And they talk about like sports cards and NFTs and sports and culture and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different thing. But I was like, damn it.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, well, I mean, I'm clearly a fan of his. It's gonna seem stupid now if I do a show.
Well,
so I texted my friend Dustin.
Yeah.
And he was like, who obviously is a videographer for Gary, and he was like, do it, man, just do it. Who gives a shit? Just do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to ask Lori what she thinks, and I'm going to do it on air so that I have to be held to it if I want to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think I should?
You know what I'm going to say, right?
Do you think I should do it?
Yes.
All right.
That's an easy answer.
He was very
give
adamant.
you all sorts of roundabout and why, but you know what? That like you and I, we operate on the premise that there is enough for everybody.
Oh yeah, the world is abundant for sure.
Right, and so we can't, with everything we talk about.
Also, there's no comparison there between
no, but you know what? It could come together. It could. Whatever it's going to be what it is, and there's a reasoning behind what you do, just like everything else you do. So
I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh God.
I literally, it had not been on my mind for a couple months since.
But it could also mean you guys are just totally aligned in your thinking, right? Because you guys came together in such a unique way.
Well,
and
then I
had that other brand anyway.
Yeah. Then I listened to it this morning, and it's fully 137 show. So it's all about like sports cards and NFTs and what's happening in the world of sports and gaming and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, these are nothing alike.
Yeah.
So that's fine. If it was a Gary V centric podcast where it was like, motivational, business related stuff like that, then I probably wouldn't do it because it would seem like a complete ripoff.
Yeah. But I think one of the things that I see, like, well, we are becoming a podcast too. So next week we're a podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think when I look at other podcasts, you could have, may sound like a little cliche, but your tagline is like, it's time to wake up or something like that, where it's, 6:32 a.m. or wake up your life or eyes open.
I'm going to share, if I can, this post it's an Instagram post from September, with how long this has been on my mind to do this. This was supposed to be the start of it. Ironically, I took the screenshot at 6:23 last night.
Wow.
But anyway.
You know what, Ben? I love that tagline too. Alarm every day.
Yeah. I think that would be the cover photo. Anyway, we don't need to turn this into a brand building conversation. Though I am excited. I am excited. At the end of the month, the last Tuesday of every month, Lori and I will be doing a marketing Q&A. You can pick our brains. You can ask us questions like I just asked Lori, and we will give you answers on that. Please check out shoplocalrhodeisland.com. I'm going into my end of the show spiel now. Please check out shoplocalrhodeisland.com. I'm very excited about the marketplace that you guys have coming up.
We are so excited.
In just a short amount of time.
When we get emails from our developers and say, we're here now, and now we need this, and it's just like, it's actually happening. It's really happening.
That's amazing. And then obviously you can check out visualthrive.com. You can email Lori at visualthrive.com.
Yeah, just email me.
And I'm excited. I'm excited for all the work that you're doing. And obviously there were new business grants that were announced yesterday, and they go live on Thursday. So please go to commerceri.com if you and it's called the Restore RI grants again, right?
I'm not sure, but they're really supposedly very easy. They are $5,000 grants. You can go to commerceri.com.
You know what? I actually have the website.
Yeah.
I have the website right here. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So anybody that's watching this who owns a business and needs a small business grant, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. That's what we're here for. If you go to, it's a mess of a link, but the hyperlink is there on the Visual Thrive Facebook page.
Okay. So it says relief grant. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Commerce
and if you're under $1 million,
Yep.
It's supposed to be easy. Do it. Just do it. Better to get it in and done and go through the process because it's a grant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori, for everything.
That's great.
And thank you, Scott. And we will be back next week. And yeah, the show's also going to be a podcast.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen to it later, or old episodes of it or something, if you want to listen to that later and you want to listen to it on your drive to work on Wednesdays or whatever, you can start doing that now as well.
And I think the last word is every last Tuesday of every single month, Ben and I are doing Q&A. So if you're doing something, you're like, you know what, I got a question, just send it on over and we'll gather them. And the last Tuesday of every month, we'll just have that banter and go through the questions. And we got a little video coming out from last month, so it looks good.
Oh, awesome. I'm excited for that. Thank you, Lori, for everything that
Always
you guys
great
do.
to see you.
I will talk to you soon. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.